And I'm joined now by Chief Livhuwani Matsila of the Matsila Royal House. Good day to you, Chief, and thank you very much for your time. I'm wondering why you want to revive a bank that has such horrible associations for so many people in Limpopo who lost their life savings due to massive looting.
Yes, indeed. In our view, the bank has been playing a very instrumental role in uplifting the social conditions of our people economically. We've got a lot of small businesses that graduated into commercial business enterprises because of the assistance by the bank. And we had burial societies that were dependent on the bank, as well as stock fairs for community events. And many other people benefited from the financial schemes of the bank, including people who got bursaries to study, who are now self-sufficient and assisting the community. So the bank, when it collapsed, we were very devastated. And we have to ensure that that life support system that it played in our role has to be restored, because it's also part of our inheritance as an organization that belongs to us.
So I understand that there was a proud history of this bank, but then this awful looting occurred and so many people lost money and were absolutely bereft, totally devastated, and felt, I think, frankly, betrayed. So in trying to revive VBS, or Venda Building Society, as I think you would want to call it, how are you going to rebuild trust?
We're going to rebuild trust by ensuring that we comply with the prescripts and protocols and legislative requirements of the Prudent Authority, which is the South African Reserve Bank, because the collapse of the VBS Bank has been lack of compliance and, undermining the authorities that are there to ensure that the bank serves the people and does not serve the elite, as we have seen, and ensuring that nobody steals from the poor. So we've got that kind of commitment as a community to say that we are proud to be a community that is not, led by people who are thieves.
Fair enough.
Or those who steal from.
What has the Reserve Bank said to you? How far along are you on this process?
The Reserve Bank has advised and guided that we must start the process from scratch and acquire a new license altogether. And we have accepted that kind of proposition because it makes us start on a clean slate, so that we are not really associated with the looting that is there despite the history. But that gives us a chance to make sure that we put a competent and capable team to run a bank that is going to benefit the community and the society.
Will you call it Venda Building Society, not VBS? Am I correct with that?
Yes, that's what it was called. But what we are now going to try and get to, it's more of a commercial bank than a mutual bank, because you get more benefits from a commercial entity than a mutual one.
All right, so my understanding is that a commercial bank also engages with the day-to-day transactions, where the mutual bank, which is what VBS was the more long-term investment. So I just want to know who supports you, and I'm specifically interested in the ANC, because you, of course, have got close ties to the ANC. You're a former head of the party's caucus in Parliament. And also, we know that party officials in Limpopo were implicated in the VBS report. So does the ANC support you? Would you be uncomfortable with anyone in the ANC being too close to this project, bearing in mind that there's still some suspicion over ANC officials who went against the rules and pushed people, allegedly, to invest in the mutual bank, which they shouldn't have done?
That's a good question. We have seen how the politics in the ANC and outside the ANC, because there are other political parties that are alleged to have been involved in the collapse of VBS. So we have seen that has done so much damage to the banking system for the community. So this is a purely apolitical program or initiative from the community on the ground. When we are saying that we are tired of political interference in our lives, want to do something on our own without any political assistance whatsoever. That's why we are committed to working with the Reserve Bank to ensure that there's absolute compliance. In that sense, we don't want the Reserve Bank to do us any favors. We want to comply to the letter.
Makes a lot of sense what you're saying. Can you give us a brief idea of time frame? How soon might people be able to invest in this new bank?
In terms of our discussions, it may take 1 or 2 years or maybe a few more years, but we're prepared to nurse the process because that is part of our way of recovery from the devastating impact of the collapse of the bank through the looting and the fraudulent activities that occurred. Whatever it takes, we're going to make sure that we have a bank again for the community.
A fresh start. Thank you so much for your time. That was Chief Livhuwani Matsila of the Matsila Royal House, and they want to relaunch the VBS Bank under the Venda Building Society name, it seems, a couple of years' time, and all of it will be above board and apolitical.